tribal areas. He clearly had charisma, he had leadership qualities, but he speaks Gondi. You know, who's going to hire him in the Indian government? So, but if he wasn't there, perhaps the Indian government would get an invaluable resource into how to, how to deal with this Naxal problem, for instance. So it's an example.
So we need to take this idea to the state.
So I'll just want to say one thing. I think I obviously agree with you. There is Gujarat, this government of Gujarat has started a fellowship program. And I don't know what the linguistic requirements there are, but I imagine if you speak Gujarati, because I think the fellowship program there, they are hoping that these people will work for the state government, but also at the grassroots level. I'm sure the language knowledge there would be very helpful. And I agree with you, at the central level, I think it'll be hard to not have English speakers as well. But I think you could also obviously have a mix. The other thing I'll say is actually working for the short time that I've done within the ministry. In fact, sometimes if you don't speak the language, if you don't speak Punjabi or whatever state you might be going to, it can actually be a handicap. So it's actually up to us, people who are very fluent in English, to make sure that we're also fluent in our mother tongues. So Punjabi is my mother tongue. I can't claim to be anywhere close to fluent in Punjabi. Right? So I think it's also up to us to become much more fluent in those languages and not just seek to become better in English.
But yeah, but the idea,
I think,
idea behind that question is also to sort of plant a seed as to how to be more inclusive from a non-elitist sort of perspective.
You make a great point.
I think it's a great
point.
Okay, do you want to make a
No, I think it's a question of where the person engages. Once someone is working with the government, if you're working across the levels, you have to work across languages also. Frankly, I might be talking English here, but that's not the language I use when I'm in Kurukshetra. Right? If I'm talking to a school teacher in some village in Mathana, then you have to talk the local language, and you have to sort of learn to understand Haryanvi also, because that's where you get the responses, right? So it is important, it's to know the languages, to talk across levels. That's the way I would look at it from my experience so far. But at the same time, in a fellowship like this, you'd like to bring in great people, and you try to ensure that there are no type 1 errors. I hope you'd like to ensure that no wrong person gets in, but you can't guarantee that every right person would get in. Right? So that's the way I would look at it.
We have time for one more question. Let me ask the final one, and this is really to you, Meet, and to you, Shrikar. This program will depend a lot on the mentorship of people like you and others. What's your sense of, either the willingness or the capacity of, senior, successful folks in government to be mentors to some of these people, particularly over the course of 2 years, either by participating in some of these leadership programs or, in colloquiums that you might organize? What's your sense of the willingness or the appetite for folks to actually do that?
I think before this concept came to our notice in the last 2-3 weeks, this is something which we have, so a lot of us have thought about, and I think the key is about, more professionalism in our service. People have said very nice things very laudatory about the IAS and all, but as a bureaucracy as a whole, I would say that the level of professionalism is not very good overall. But in terms of receptivity to such a thing, I think it will be very welcome. We have to be cautious in terms of the mentors that we choose, the ministries we choose. It can't be across government entirely. A lot will depend on the individuals. Individuals you select as mentors would be crucial, but they will be great. In terms of numbers, I think currently we're dealing with very small numbers. Even if you ramp up the numbers, even if you go up to 50, 100, I'm sure there'll be enough people in the government who would actually value this program, and they would value the participation of professionals. And let me tell you, this is something which came out very strongly in the previous session also. We have a huge structure that is supporting us, but in terms of the quality of the inputs that we get from that structure, it's abysmal, let me tell you. whether it's at the district level and even if it's at the government of India level. So such a thing would really be welcome for a right-minded professional bureaucrat.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Be selective in who you choose,
Yeah.
and make it a success for the first couple of years, and then tap it.
Thank you. I'm going to reserve the final comment to you, Avik. Avik Agarwal's joined us. He's a former IFS officer and is now in the private sector. What's your sense of this question? Now that you got the feel for this discussion, I'm sorry to cold call you, but that's the last thing I'll do.
I think the most difficult part would be to get the buy-in from the person who would be mentoring the fellows. Especially, as you know, Government of India again is you are here for a year, then you go away. So what happened to the fellow when his mentor goes away? Okay, so it has to be a buy-in not only from the person but from the ministry as such, and there has to be buy-in from the minister, basically from the political class, because at the end of the day, he will have to decide, okay, this program is important, so fellows should be given due importance, rather than he joining with a good mentor, working there for 6 months, then a new person comes in and he's not interested.
Well, just to thank you for that. I'm sorry to call you, but let me just recap. Again, if folks have any other questions, we will have some more time after this in IT, so you can certainly raise these with the folks. But I just wanted to appreciate everybody taking their time out on Saturday afternoon to be here. There were several people who wanted to be here, but we couldn't accommodate them. We certainly find ways to stay in touch with them. There will be a process, and I know that the GYIPS will be in touch with you folks, just in terms of next steps and how this is going to play itself out. But we appreciate very much your inputs as this program gets, I'm going to say, finally designed. It's already been designed to a point, but there's some tweaks going on as the final thing all fits into place. And just on behalf of all of you, I just wanted to thank the panelists here for all the work and for your contributions to the session. I think this is some tea or something like that.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
And India Empire, I'd like to thank all of you for being present here. Thank all our speakers and Mr. Lakshman for moderating brilliant sessions today. And also like to thank Mr. Sayantha Chakravarti, our partner, for supporting us for the event. I'm done with my thank yous, I think. And a couple of things in terms of next steps. GYIPS Delhi is planning to invite to organize more events in the months ahead. So if you're interested to be part of the organizing committee of such events, do write to us at gyps.delhi@gmail.com. And also if you work with ministries, with the Government of India in some capacity, and you'd like to partner with GYIPS and explore possibilities around fellowship or beyond, do get in touch with us. Thank you. We have the high tea now.
We have high tea, and then about for about half an hour, 45 minutes, we have the space outside. And after that, we might find another place to sort of move to if people still want to keep up the discussion. But we have high tea right now. Let me quickly thank some of the people who were very keen. I want to thank all the entire organizing committee again. And I also want to thank Mr. Sayantha Chakravarti. Without him, this would not have happened. So. And again, if you could give another round of applause for the panelists and the speakers. Without their intellectual input,